We talk about love all the time. It's in our songs, our movies, but let's be honest, it can be super confusing, right? We're constantly sold this one big idea that true love has to be unconditional. But what if that core belief isn't just wrong? What if it's actually kind of harmful? So yeah, that's the huge question we're going to dig into today. Is it even possible for love to have no conditions at all? Is that something we should even want? Let's really put that popular idea to the test and see if it holds up. All right, so first up, let's take a closer look at this whole unconditional love thing. It's a phrase we hear constantly, and it sounds amazing, right? But have we ever really stopped to think about what that would actually look like in the real world? Okay, let's get real for a second and test this out. What if your partner hits you? Does unconditional love mean you're supposed to stay? Well, according to the perspective we're exploring, the answer is a hard no, a definite no. In fact, staying in a situation like that isn't a sign of love. That's a betrayal of yourself. And okay, what about this one? Imagine your partner is just awful to your parents, the people you care about most. I mean, if love is totally unconditional, then technically that behavior shouldn't really matter. But come on, would it really not matter to you? For just about everyone, that's a major red line you just don't cross. It doesn't even have to be that dramatic. What about that slow, steady drip of being constantly ignored or put down or just made to feel small? The whole ideal of unconditional love suggests you should just, put up with it? But we all know that's not how it works. That stuff chips away at you, and it can completely destroy a relationship. And really, all these examples are pointing to one big idea. Love isn't some magical fairy dust that exists no matter what. It's something that's built on a solid foundation. And that foundation needs strong pillars like care, understanding, and mutual respect. You kick one of those pillars out, the whole thing is going to come crashing down. So, if love isn't this unconditional magic thing, then what is it? Well, let's look at a totally different way of thinking about it. Not as a thing you find, but as a journey you build together. And this reframes everything. We always hear about falling in love, like it's some kind of accident you just stumble into. But this perspective argues, no, it's not something you fall into. It's a process, something you actively build that grows and changes step by step over time. And this is what that journey looks like, broken down into 6 stages. It all starts with attraction, right? That initial spark. But that's just the door opening. From there, it builds into affection. A real bond starts to form. Then, and this is so important, you get to a place of mental peace. You just feel safe with them, calm. And that's what allows for real understanding. You start to see the real person, flaws and all. Over time, they become a habit, a natural, essential part of your everyday life. And the thing holding all of this together, getting stronger with every step, is trust. So according to this view, this whole process, that's what we're really talking about when we say love. And thinking about it this way, it makes so much sense why breakups are just so devastating. You're not just losing a person you care about, you're breaking a core habit. Your brain, your body, your whole routine is being thrown into chaos. That's a whole different level of pain to get over. Okay, so if love is this conditional journey that becomes a deep-seated habit, how can you tell if what you have is the real deal or just, a temporary crush? Well, this next part gives us some really clear clues. And yeah, the difference is pretty huge. On one hand, you've got that fleeting attraction. It's usually based on looks or physical connection, and it's often temporary. But genuine love, that's built on something way deeper. It's about care, about loyalty. It's an emotional connection that's built to last, to weather the storm. So what are the signs of that genuine love? Well, here are a few powerful ones. It's when your heart still jumps a little when you see them, even after all this time. It's that awful guilty feeling you get after a fight because hurting the connection hurts you. And this is a big one, empathy. When they're crying, you feel that pain right along with them. And maybe you cry too. You literally feel what they're feeling. And there's this one story from the source that it perfectly captures this idea. The author says her husband, he's not the guy who's always getting her a glass of water at home, But when she ended up in the hospital for 5 days, he was there. He brought her food, and he fed it to her himself. In that moment of real need, his care was undeniable. And as she says, that is care. That is love. And that really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? Love isn't always about the big, flashy romantic gestures you see in the movies. It's about showing up when it truly matters. It's that deep, consistent care that reveals itself when someone is at their most vulnerable. Maybe that's the real condition of love. Okay, so we've gone through a lot here. After challenging this huge idea about love, what's the one central message you should walk away with? It really boils down to this. Love is not unconditional. In fact, according to this perspective, it's definitely conditional. And those conditions, they're not unreasonable things. They're respect, they're care, loyalty, understanding. And maybe that isn't a bad thing at all. Maybe having those conditions is exactly what gives love its meaning and its value. So the argument here is that thinking of love this way doesn't make it weaker. It actually makes it stronger, more real. It means it's something we have to actively earn and maintain through our actions. So I'll leave you with this question to think about. After hearing all this, what's your take? Does this change how you see love?